everybody watching right now.
What is up, YouTube fam? It's your favorite unapologetic husband, not back with another one. So this video is about mine, my wife, my brother, and my sister-in-law's experience this past weekend in Casey, South Carolina at the Upchurch show, his concert. Before I go any further, I do want to say this. If it wasn't for Church, JJ, Brodnax, T2, if it wasn't for all of them and their camp, all of their camps, our experience could have been a lot worse. Now, you know, it's no secret that church fans, Creek Squad, likes to show up early to his shows. We like to treat it kind of like football games and tailgate the day with each other, making memories, making friends, hanging out before we go and enjoy the show. Okay? Well, to me, and I will be bringing another person in on this video, the guy that was behind me and my wife in line, and me and my wife were third in line from the first gate. And in this video, I'm going to show the aerial view of where the event was held. I'm going to show how far away from the event everybody had to park. You know, normally when you're the first at an event, you get pretty much really good parking. Well, no, not at this event. At this event, you got the worst parking possible. But I'm also going to show his tour bus going by. Like, we were there me and my wife were there at 9 o'clock in the morning. And the gates didn't open. And when I mean the gates to actually get into the show, didn't open until 5. Okay? There's 2 sets of gates. And if you look at the aerial view, like I did, and plan, like I'm pretty sure everybody that went to this show did, it looked like you could tailgate right outside of the second gate and have fun and make memories and do exactly what T2 said while he was on stage, pretty much his whole set, which was, and I'm quoting him, "We showed up as strangers, but we're leaving as family." And, you know, if it wasn't for him, Church, JJ, Brodnax, and their teams, we would have still left as strangers. Because, to me, it felt like Creek Squad had to take care of Creek Squad Saturday night. Because there was nobody there to do it for us. There was not an ambulance on site. There was a bunch of firefighters and a bunch of police officers. But there was no actual EMT on site. There was no medic on site. No ambulance. My brother and his wife only got to see from a very far, and again, I'll show you when I pull up the aerial view. They got to see from afar T2 on stage. They did get to see that. They didn't get to experience it in the pit where they should have with me and my wife. But they ended up having to leave halfway through T2's set because my brother was having a heat stroke. Now, with that being said, we were in direct sunlight for over 12 hours. Pretty much the whole time the sun was in the sky, we were under it. And there was very little shade. The shade we had kept leaving because, you know, the day goes by, the sun rises and ends up going down. So the shade we were having to chase. That's one thing, okay? I'm not really complaining on that because I am used to being in the sun. I like the outdoors. I always have. You know, as a kid, I think it was 2nd or 3rd degree sunburn from one of the trips to the beach we had. And I'm part Cherokee, so sun and sunburning to me is nothing. It stings, it hurts a little bit, but it's nothing. Okay, I have the beginning stages of sun poisoning, and that's never happened to me. It sucks. Manageable, but it sucks. Point being, it should have never have happened. There should have been some way for us to have shade. Now, you could argue and say we bring a tent. The people in front of us brought a tent. They were the only ones that done that. Literally the only ones. You know, the way we planned it, we could stay at our car pretty much the whole day and just chill outside the car, like I was saying, tailgating. Well, there's our way out of direct sunlight. and, sunscreen. But with the heat that we experienced, I don't know if sunscreen would have worked. But, I mean, that's not even the big thing. That was the very small issue, and it wasn't even an issue that we had. Because, again, it's sun. You can't really escape that. You can, but you can't. Okay. I don't know what that was. But you can escape it, but you can't. My biggest issue I had was the fact there was no water. There was no water being offered to us. There was no water for sale. Once you got through the first gate, standing outside of the second gate, you got to stare at a porta potty. Granted, we're all country and we didn't mind it, but it shouldn't have been a thing. But we all had to go out into the woods to use the bathroom. And like I said, I'm country as hell. That's not the first time I've had to use the bathroom in the woods, and it won't be the last. But it's still the point. We are standing outside of the gate, and we're looking at the porta potties. They're just staring us in the face. Like, y'all couldn't have brought at least 1 or 2 porta potties outside of the gate for the early birds that were there that clearly had pissed y'all off, because that's how it felt to me. I felt like they were annoyed that we showed up that early, and they were going to treat us like shit, because they did. I've talked to a couple of people since the show, one that I'm bringing into this video, and another that was standing behind us in the second gate, because the boy that I'm bringing into, or he's not even a boy, he's a young man. The young man I'm bringing into this video, he was behind us in the second gate, but he kind of like merged with me, my wife, my brother, and my sister-in-law. So he was kind of considered part of our group at the second gate. That's why I'm saying the people behind him ended up being behind us as well, because we kind of just took, his name's Tanner, we kind of just took Tanner under our wing and took him with us until the gates opened, and then Tanner found the stage. And I'm not going to explain Tanner's experience, but I will say that I don't know if Church or anybody on the team, well, I don't know if Church or anybody on the stage or behind the stage knew what was going on. I will say that once the fans hit the stage, the people working in the camps were coming out to the edge of the stage and giving their waters and their Gatorades to the fans. But, yeah. And another thing that I want to discuss that I don't understand, I do understand having to pay for parking, okay? Normally, any event that you go to, you got to pay for parking. I get that, okay? And people plan for that. Nowhere on this does it say that you got to pay for parking. You don't find that out till you get to the gate. And then you find out it's $20 to park. And it's not just $20 to park. You do not get a parking pass. And, for example, we needed water, okay? Thank God I knew somebody that was coming in after us and was in contact with her. Shout out Creeker Cat. Love you to death. Thank you for what you've done all day Saturday. But if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have got water. Because we had full intentions of, because we did this in Corbin. For example, we had plans of me and my brother staying in line and holding our spot while my wife and his wife went to the store and got food if we needed it, drinks, water, got things that we needed if we needed them. Well, we ended up not being able to do that because, again, if you left and came back, it was $20 each time. So if you left the event 5 times, you were paying $20 each time. That's $100 right there in parking. People don't plan for that. That's something that needs to be stated so people can plan accordingly. For example, with me, that ended up dipping into my merch money. Okay? You know, we are not rich. We are not famous. We are not... Look, I say I'm a nobody, and I don't mean like literally a nobody, but I'm nobody big. We ain't got money like that. We're surviving. And the fact that we couldn't even go and get water because we needed it, because we were having to choose between buying merch and getting water. Like, there's a problem there. And the way that these people talked to Creek Squad was just ridiculous, in my opinion. We were treated like we were less than human. But I'm getting ready to show the aerial view of the event and explain all of that. Okay, so this is the aerial view of where the show was held in Casey, South Carolina. Now, if you can see, there is technically 3 entrances to where this show was held. The show was held here, and actually right here is where the stage was. Over here was where the tents were for merch. There was bathrooms back here. There was bathrooms over here, like up in this region. The first gate, though, is down here. Right here is where the first gate that you enter is. Now, there was a red truck parked here, and then a red, like, suburban thing parked right here, then mine and my wife's car, and then a truck. My brother he parked somewhere down here. I think there was a white truck and something else in between before my brother. But point being, we ended up going down the highway. Now, I used to be a firefighter, and that is a huge safety concern, because if y'all can tell, this is the start of a curve. Now, they were letting groups in. Like, we didn't get in until 11:30 is when they finally opened that gate. And then they left and came right over here to where there's a RV parked. And they just sat in that RV in the AC. But they were letting us in by groups. And I think it was the second or third group, there was almost a pile up right here. Because there was people trying to get in line and try and figure out what was going on. Cars come flying into the curve, not realizing what was going on, and there was literally almost a pile up. But once you got into this gate and paid your $20, you had to park way down here. Way down here. My car actually was parked right here. Now, I have recently found out that this was actually the campground for the Speedway back when it was a Speedway, because you can clearly tell that it was a Speedway from the aerial view. And I mean, it's Historic Columbia Speedway. That's the name of this place. But, you know, from the aerial view, you can see it looks like you can park all right in here. And that's what I planned for. And to be honest, that's what Creeker Cat planned for, because me and her talked about it the night prior. But that right there, and then this, right here is the second gate. So this is where the fans stood before they opened the gate. And I'm going to show y'all just how long the line went. Right here is where the line started. And it come this way, and went this way, and then just filled the field. But yeah. That's kind of ridiculous if you ask me. There should have been water set up somewhere. And it wouldn't have minded paying for it. Would not have minded paying for the water at all. It's still the point that there was none being offered. And that y'all see, that's direct sunlight. The most shade there was over here. And there's barely any shade, if you can see that. Like, barely any shade. Yeah, the stage was set, like, right here. Right here was, like, the pit area where they only sold alcohol. They sold out of water very fast. Wonder why. None of us had any fucking water. But crazy. Now, here's the video I'm getting ready to show is of Church's tour bus pulling right here and going in. Okay, I do have the volume muted because I don't want y'all to hear my loud ass mouth. I'm a little excited. I'm basically just saying, oh my God, this is amazing. This is cool. We actually get to see him pull in. Oh my God. But right there he is. Well, the tour bus. And the thing about that, at the very beginning of this video, you see the red shirt. That's Tanner. He was told by a woman that came down to tell him, you need to move over because he's getting ready to come in. Well, right there he is. And that was at roughly, I think, 10:30. But, yeah, that was pretty damn crazy if you ask me. It really was. You know, I've experienced sunburn. I've experienced the sun. I ain't no sissy or wuss or baby when it comes to getting sunburn. I actually like burning. I like getting darker. I've actually been told by my family to watch it because they're scared I'm going to end up with skin cancer because of how much I tan in the summertime. Because I like to tan. I like to burn. I like to feel that burn. Saturday was something different that I've never experienced before. Like, ever. And there was things that we could have done to prevent it. There is. You know, we are at fault for a lot, but the one thing that we are not at fault for is not having anything to keep us hydrated throughout the day. Nothing. And with that, halfway through the show, the venue ran out of water. Straight ran out of water. And I know that because I was in the pit needing to get hydrated. My vision started going in and out. And I had to get out of the main part of the pit. And that's not because everybody was crowded around everybody. You know, people actually gave each other room. They were respectful in a sense. And I got out of the pit to the back. Like, not out fully of the pit, but at the back of the pit. And shout out to Hennessy because she was amazing as well, helping me and my wife throughout the night. And there was also there was a couple of people. That's one thing I'm going to get to in a second. But she was staying in contact with Hennessy, and Hennessy was trying to get me water. Well, the pit was completely out of water. The tent that was selling water was completely out. The other tent that was selling water was completely, everything was out. There was nothing to drink, not even lemonade or tea. And that's the only thing that was there to really drink. Water, lemonade, tea, and beer. They made sure to have their beer, but there was nothing to keep us hydrated. Literally nothing. I know in that moment when my wife looked at me and said that the place had ran out of water, I said, I need out of the pit then. So we left the pit, and the only thing I knew to do was to get to T2. Because I had just met T2 prior. He had actually just come off a stage and made it back to his tent. But I had just met him, and the only thing I knew to do was to get to him. For some reason, there was something inside of me that was just pulling me to T2. Well, as I walk up, T2's over at Church's merch tent with Church's camp, and T2's best friend and like right-hand man, I walked up to him, and he looked at me, and before he could say anything, I said, dude, I'm not okay this time. I'm not. I said, my vision is going in and out. All he did was hand me a water. And I said, dude, thank you, because there's no water here. About that time, T2 turned around and said, what did you just say? I said, T2, there's no water at this event. They just ran out of water. And about that time, here comes my wife saying, yeah. And then here comes Hennessy running with 2 cups of ice that she had to pay $2 for because the place had ran out of water. And as soon as I seen the cup of ice, the only thing I knew to do was take that water that I just got and pour it into that ice, and I did. And yeah, like it. And I will be the first to admit I started to tear up with T2 because I had to get out of the pit. My health was calling me out of the pit. I was pushing the limits of about to go into a heat stroke or pass out if I would not have got out of that pit and tried my hardest to get something to drink because of how the day had went. You know, we tried to stay hydrated. None of us felt like paying $20, and this isn't just the people that was with me, it was a lot of people. We didn't feel like using the money that we had there, because, you know, a lot of people that go to church fans have to budget their money. They're blue collar men and women. They have bills, they have kids, they got shit they got to cover. We ain't planning to pay hundreds of dollars to park. That right there is my biggest issue, and the not having water at hand. Whether it was for them offering it or them selling it, like, we would have paid for it. And I'm just speaking on me and my crew that went. We would have paid for the water because we needed it. We were dehydrated. And that's not a lack of trying. Again, I was in contact with Creeker Cat before she got to the show. And when she got there, she had got me a big ass thing of water. She had got my wife a water, and she brought a case. She made it halfway down the line before that case of water was gone. Because people were thirsty. We were all dehydrated. And again, none of this, and I'm only going to speak for myself, but I don't blame church or JJ or T2 or Brodnax or anyone in their camp for this. Because when I started to say my experience to church's camp, the women that was checking me out, they were pretty mad. They were pretty mad. When I told T2 what was going on in his camp, they were pretty mad. Like, it wasn't an okay thing, but because of the type of people we all are, we made it okay. You know? Creek Squad is one big ass family. And Creek Squad caught on pretty damn fast that we were not going to be took care of, so we took care of each other. Like we always do. That's why I don't blame church or anybody on the tour, just whether it was the venue or the organizers. It was one of the two, if not both, in my opinion. In my opinion, I think they wanted us to riot. Everything was there for us to riot, all the signs, but we're a family. We're not that type of fans. We're family. We look out for one another. We take care of one another. We are a big ass family. Like, it's just mind blowing to me. It really is. It really, really is. And I will say, my family knows how I am over church and how he's my favorite artist. If he ever goes back to the historic Columbia Speedway in Casey, South Carolina, I won't go. I won't. And I'm not saying that because, you know, I feel big or something. No. My experience at this place was completely horrible. And my brother's health played an effect. My health started to play an effect. My wife's health played an effect. My sister-in-law's. Other people that I don't even know. Like, there was a lot of safety concerns that I was not okay with. And because of that is why I will not be back. You know, our lives mean more to me than a show, simply put. But I do not blame church. I don't blame JJ. I don't blame any of them. I fully blame that venue or the organizers, whoever, the ones that was supposed to be running the event. They are the ones that are at blame. And because of them, I won't be back. I won't. But now it's time to bring in Tanner into this video. So I did it this way so I could go ahead and get my side out and not really interrupt him much so he could get his experience out. So here is Tanner's experience at the Upchurch show in Casey, South Carolina, at the historic Columbia Speedway.
All right, what's going on, Creek Squad? My name's Tanner, or as known as T-Bone Reacts. Basically, yeah, like Empress said, it was a shit show. I mean, I got up there because they were there. I think they got there like right around like 8 o'clock. I think because when I got there, it was around 8:30, and I mean we stood out there till about right around 11. Because they were parked in front of me, and I went up to them and we talked and we hung out. She introduced me to her brother because he does music and I do music too. And that's how we kind of connected and became friends and stuff. And I kept talking with them, and they were really cool people. But whenever Upchurch's tour bus came in, before that, that was when, as she said in her experience, the lady that was doing, I guess, running part of the venue or whatever, she came up to me and asked me to move my truck because he's about to come in, and that they were trying to get us in early because like she said that they were having a debate on it, which I don't really see why there would be a debate when, you know, like how Amber said in her experience, if they would have waited any longer, there was going to be traffic backed way back down that road in that video where Amber was showing y'all, like the whole on the Google Maps and stuff. But once we got in, you know, we followed this dude on a golf cart. He pulled us up because there was like six of us, about 6, 8, probably about 8 of us that got in the first group. He told us where to park and everything else. And after that, we all went to the second gate, which is to go into the, where we had to wait in line in order to get inside the racetrack for the concert and stuff. So when we were walking over there and everything, and it's like 80, 90 degrees, and we stood out there till about 5 o'clock. And I know when we were in line, after we got in around like 11:30ish. About an hour later, there's more people coming. You know, we're sitting down on the ground just trying to enjoy every single second of shade we can get just from the clouds, even though it wasn't much. I know whenever Ambra and her wife went to go walk to where there was a little bit of shade, which is towards where the gate to get into to go park is at, the first gate, you know, they could overhear the people in line waiting to park because they had the gates closed and there was nobody going over there to check on them, to bring them in, you know, to get them to go to park or whatever. And I know she said that they were over there raising hell. Like, when I mean it was bad, it was bad. As many concerts I've ever went to and venues that I've ever went to, I've never been the one where the venue was this bad. This is my first experience dealing with it. And I can promise you I will probably never go back to that venue again. And anyone who is watching this and there's an event over there, I promise you, you're not going to want to go. Unless it's like 40 degrees outside or 50 and 60s degrees outside, I wouldn't recommend going. Because it's a waste of time and it's a waste of money. And the venue people, they don't care about you. Because they didn't care about us. We were in line from like 11:30 to 5 o'clock and not one single person came up to us to see if we needed water or, you know, there was no, like she said, there was no porta potties anywhere. So if you had to go use the bathroom, you were pretty much screwed unless you went into the woods or left to go to a store and use the bathroom at a gas station and then had to come back and pay $20. So you're basically paying $20 to use a freaking restroom, which I think is bullshit. And then I know when we were in line, you could hear whenever Upchurch was on the stage doing sound check, you can hear him saying, "Y'all motherfuckers," and come to find out that was him yelling at at the venue people. I don't know what the story behind that is or what, but like whenever we did get in there though, even though it was like 20 minutes after the time we were supposed to get in, because we were supposed to be in at 5 and we didn't get in there until like 5:20 was when they opened the gates. Also, another thing, because the whole trash can deal, when we were in line, they didn't want to start bringing the trash cans out until it was time for us all to go in. Why is that? Why wait last minute when there's about to be a shit ton of people running into the gates to bring trash cans out when you have all damn day to do it. All that time that you Vini people was sitting in your little AC, you know, keeping cool, staying hydrated, but we were out there suffering. All that time y'all had to go out there just to put trash cans out so we had something, you know, a spot or a place where we can throw our trash away from all the damn water bottles that we were drinking over there to go throw away. Why couldn't y'all done it then? Why? But whenever we did get in there, no, it felt a little bit better. Felt a little bit at ease. As soon as I got in there, I went straight to the barricade, and I just stayed there the whole entire time. I didn't leave. And as soon as I got to the barricade, JJ Longhorn, Beat Loose, Kalani, and I think T2. I think I could be wrong. I don't know. No, it was Kalani, JJ Longhorn, and Beat Loose. They were walking around the barricade, from the stage to the barricade, you know, handing us waters and Gatorade. Shout out to them. They were really, really good to us. Time goes by, the music's, you know, they're starting to do the performances and stuff. It's T2 coming up. After that, it was Brodnax. So you're really about to get a kick out of this. So keep in mind, there is not one ambulance on the premises whatsoever. We seen a fire truck come in. We seen a couple cop cars come in. That was it. Not one ambulance. Well, when Brodnax starts performing, I think after 2 or 3 of his songs, this lady behind me, within like 2 feet away from me. So about, literally like right there behind me. She passed out from a heat stroke, and Brodnax notices it. He stops his performance to make sure everything's good. I think it took about 15 minutes for someone to come while the Vini people were in their AC, and this was going on, and they know what was going on, because when the guy was standing at the barricade, whenever it happened, he went straight to behind the stage and went into his camper. Now, Swamp Buck, they were good. Those Swamp Buck Entertainment, they were with Upchurch and their groups. So Swamp Buck, they were good to us, because they were also handing us waters and Gatorades at the barricade and stuff too. I know they couldn't get everybody water, but you know, the ones they were able to, you know, they did their part. They tried to help out as much as they could. Because I mean, there really wasn't much you really could do, with there not being any water whatsoever, unless you were at the barricade and one of the Swamp Buck Entertainment guys who were working security at the stage, they were there. And if you needed water, they would have handed it to you, because they sure as hell did with me and a couple other people. So the lady passes out. She has a heat stroke. And whenever the people do get there, it was one of the police officers. It was a police officer that got there. So there was about 4 police officers, not one medical unit or an ambulance or anything. When they get there, finally someone who deals in the medical field, I don't know what he's classified as or whatever, or his rank is, whatever. I guess he's just a first responder, because that would make sense with the fire truck coming in. There's only one first responder there with his bag and everything else. And while these cops and this first responder is trying to give this lady medical attention, I'm looking, and they're over there laughing and giggling, cutting up with the damn crowd, while there's a fucking girl who's passed the fuck out on the fucking ground. And I'm sorry for my language, but that shit really pissed me off. Because you got an innocent little girl on the fucking ground, and you're going to sit there and cut up with the fucking crowd, dude? Like, what the fuck is your problem, man? There's serious shit going on, and you want to cut up with the fucking crowd. Like, why? And then after that, that's pretty much all that I can really say. It's late. Yeah, that's pretty much how my experience went. Also, on top of that, though, that I forgot to add, there was nobody directing traffic. After we went in there and we parked, sorry I didn't speak about this in the beginning when I was talking about it, but I'm speaking about it now. Yeah, no, there was not one person over there directing traffic. So they were literally just, people were just parking wherever they could, wherever they wanted to, which kind of made everything into a clusterfuck, because at the end of the show, when we got out, I stayed about an hour. I stayed about 2 hours after the show just so I could be able to get out and be safe. Just because of how bad it was. I mean, there was cars parked on cars on cars. Like, when I mean it was bad, it was pretty bad. Not to mention, there was almost 2 wrecks, 2 pileups that almost happened as well. But that's my experience. Other than all the bad shit that happened, the good, the performance from all the guys on stage, it made up for it. That's for damn sure. I had a really good time. I got to meet Kalani. He was really, really cool. I got to talk with him after the show. T2, amazing dude. Brodnax. Like, the energy that was coming off that stage was unreal. Unlike any other show I've ever been to before. But the next show at KC, it'll be, I don't know if I'm gonna go back to that venue again. I really don't personally, because it ain't gonna be worth the time or the money to go to that venue, no matter who it is. After my experience from it, like Amber said, I'd rather take care of my health first than anything else. And if that means missing a show of someone that I really like, then so be it. I'd rather, stay healthy than having to worry about fucking passing out in the middle of the heat. But yeah, the concert itself was pretty good, but the venue, not so much. I ended up getting Upchurch's guitars, his guitar pick from Ty. That was pretty cool. Yeah, other than that, though, that was my experience. Make sure you guys go sub to Ambra. And if any of y'all who are watching this video and y'all had any of the same experiences as we did, talk about it, man. Make a video about it. Get it out there so people know that this venue is not worth the money to go to. And hopefully that they don't do another show at this venue, considering of what the aftermath was and how the venue people were and how they treated us. Yeah, that's gonna be it for my side of my experience. Make sure you guys go like and subscribe to her. She's got a really good channel. I checked it out. I like her videos. They're good videos and stuff. So make sure you guys go drop a like and sub to her. And peace.
So, that was Tanner's experience, and I agree with him. It is absolutely ridiculous that us as fans, regardless of who is performing, it doesn't matter who it is, we should not be treated the way the early birds were. Some fans camp out for days to see their favorite artist. I'm not saying we did that. I'm saying that does happen. And yes, prepare yourself, plan ahead. But when you do not have any backup from the actual venue, there's a problem there. And again, noticing what happened or what was going on, trying to leave to go get water, trying to leave to go get things you needed, you had to pay $20 to get back in. Tanner was right. If you had to leave to go get water, you just paid $20 for that bottle of water or that 2 bottles of water. And yes, prices are high, but $20 on top of actually paying for it, so you're doubling your money paying for that water. Because you got to pay that $20 to get back into that gate. That's not right. At all. I only had, stay-at-home mom. We have 4 children. I said it in my part. We've got to manage money. And I went to that show with $100. Yeah, I know that's very little for merch. That's all I had. I had to use 20 of that to get into the fucking show. $20 I wasn't planning on using. Nowhere did it say that. And I mean, I get it. You got to pay for parking. faulty on my part. I should have brought money to pay for parking, but it wasn't required. Nothing was mentioned about it until you got to that gate, and then you were told $20 to park every time you have to park your car. I said it in my part. That's, if you've got to leave 5 times, it's $100 right there. Each time you leave. There is nothing right about that. To be honest, when me and my wife found out that we had to pay $20 for parking, we both looked at each other and said, is the venue really trying to make money off of church? And I'm seriously wondering if he even knows that we all had to pay $20 to get in. Because they damn sure didn't sit that sign that said parking $20 down at the end of the road until well after church was already in the Speedway. He was already out there making sure everything was good. You know, for the show. Like sound check. Getting his stuff ready for the show. He was already back behind the stage in his tour bus when that sign that said parking $20 went down to the end of that road. It was not there when we were there. It was not there when church's tour bus went by. Tanner said it, and I am speaking for my wife and myself. It does not matter who goes to the historic Columbia Speedway. We will not be back. We won't. It doesn't matter who it is. Because our health is more important, just like Tanner said. And like I said in my part of this. And I am in different clothes because I started this video and it took a couple of days to get out. I had to figure out how to get Tanner in on it. I was going to use StreamYard, and then that fell through because me and Tanner couldn't get time to get together on the computer to do it. And you know, the very next day, as soon as we got home, I only got to spend like maybe 3 or 4 hours with my shadow. And we lost my shadow at about 10:30 Sunday night. And, you know, I'm a stay-at-home mom, like I said. I've got the house to take care of. I've got to clean inside the house. I've got to take care of the kids, make sure they're doing their school, make sure my wife is good. Well, I'm a dyke. I do the outside work, like mowing the grass, weed eating, and my wife can't. She's allergic to fresh cut grass, so she can't. Any work that needs to be done outside, I've got to do it. I mean, I don't mind it, don't get me wrong. It's fun to me. But that's my point. Like, when I do these videos, when I do my reactions, yeah, you'll see if I go live, you'll see my Cash App rolling across. That's because people has asked me to put it out. Some of my videos are monetized. Okay? There's a way to make money. I'm not going to turn that down. The fuck? But I do these videos not because of the money, but because it's something fun that I like to do. And I want to be an inspiration to others. I want to motivate others. Other people fighting addiction or fighting their own addiction or their own recovery. I want to be motivation for those people. Because I am over 8 years clean. And this upcoming Friday, I already told y'all, I'm going to get 2 more names added to my half a sleeve. Or my sleeve, not half, because it's not a half anymore. But if y'all would please, if y'all were at the April 20th, 2024 KC, South Carolina, historic Columbia Speedway Upchurch concert show, please DM me your experience, whether it was good or bad. Because, again, I know the ones that got there around the time the gate opened did not experience what the ones of us who were, up at the beginning of the gate experienced. We had a whole different experience. We were pretty much left to fend for ourselves. And thank God Creek Squad is one big-ass family, because when we noticed it, Creek Squad took care of Creek Squad. Like always. And that's why I call Creek Squad my family. But again, please, if you guys would DM me your experience, whether it was good or bad. I want to hear the good experiences. I seen them on Instagram, in stories, on like in the feed of Instagram. And I was so happy because those people did not experience what we did. And there was a lot of people that were there when we were in the early morning, and it was their first time seeing church. And me, my wife, my brother, my sister-in-law, Tanner, we were all telling them, this is not, or I think this was Tanner's first show, this is not an Upchurch show. This is not how this goes. Like, I honestly feel bad for the fans that were part of the early birds and got treated that way, because that's not how church shows go. I've been to plenty of church shows. This show made my 7th show I've been to. And I have never, the past 6 shows I've been to, I have never been treated like this as a fan. I've been treated with kindness, with respect, with dignity, humanity. I didn't even feel like a human Saturday. That's bad. I felt like a dog left out in the hot ass fucking sun. I mean, like a house dog, a domesticated dog, a pet that's not used to the hot. That's what I felt like Saturday. And I'm used to hot. I like going out. Y'all see it on my Instagram story. I like tanning. I love tanning. Burning is nothing to me. I'm also part Cherokee. And like I said in my experience when I was a kid, 2nd or 3rd degree sunburn. I can't remember which one it was as a kid. Ever since then, as soon as I get sunburn, within the next 2 days, I'm tan. This is different. I haven't been able to go outside until today. I was actually able to mow my yard today. My house was looking like we were living in an abandoned house because I couldn't go outside and do what I needed to do. That's fucking sad. But again, I want to make it very clear. I am speaking for my wife and myself and my brother and my sister-in-law. We do not blame Ryan Upchurch, T2, JJ Lawhorn, or Brodnax for our experience before they hit the stage. To be honest, they didn't know. I told y'all in my experience. When I told T2 what was going on, he was not happy. Neither was his best friend, who was constantly giving me water anytime I came up to his tent. Like, they had no idea we were being treated like that. And to be honest, I hope church sees this video. Of all the videos I've ever put out, I hope he sees this one. I really do. Because I don't blame him. I don't blame any of them. If it wasn't for them, the men of that tour and their camps, I wouldn't have stayed. And if it wasn't for them putting on the show of a lifetime for me, but putting on a show as good as they did, if it was anyone else and they did not put on that, like, put that energy and throw that energy at us to help us, I would not be a fan anymore. Most definitely. And this is why I love church. This is why I love T2. This is why I love JJ and Brodnax. It's a big family. We look out for one another. It's no one left behind. That's just how I feel about Creek Squad, church, T2, JJ, Brodnax. That's how I feel about everybody involved. Except that venue. That venue, with all due respect, can kiss where the sun don't shine. And again, please DM me your experiences. My Instagram is in the description below. If you guys like this video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next reaction. See ya.
Well, I'll pray for you, brother, but leave me alone.